Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by actress and activist Amber Afzali. Amber is going to be playing one of the lead roles in the Angel Studio indie film that's highly anticipated called Rule Breakers. This film is based on Afghanistan's first all-girls robotic team, and Amber is going to be playing one of the team members. She is also a passionate activist, and she is really passionate about this film. So we're going to be talking to her about the film and everything that she's up to as far as activism. So Amber, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, why don't you start off by telling the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Amber Afzali. I am starring in the film Rule Breakers. I play Essen. I was born in Vegas, but now I live in California. I moved when I was fairly young. I was in acting earlier to kind of break me out of my shell. My parents put me in, but I didn't pursue it as a career or get back into it really until recently. I went to University of Pennsylvania, studied political science and psychology. And right now, I'm just always excited to find new projects that really connect with me on an emotional level, on a cultural level, or just, something that I think is very entertaining. So I'm very excited to be here, and I'm very excited to talk a little bit more about the film and about my experience.
Well, before we get into that, kind of tell the listeners about your parents and your journey that you guys went through so you can get to where you are now.
Absolutely. So, my parents, they're both Afghan immigrants. They came from Afghanistan at a fairly young age, out of Afghanistan to my mom went to Germany. My dad had a couple stops before making his way to California. And I think when they had us, something that they really wanted to make sure that we had was an appreciation for our culture, an understanding of the language, and just being able to balance the Afghan identity with being an American as well. And that kind of brought me, with all of the things that were happening with Afghanistan as I was growing up, it kind of led me to a path of being really interested in the Afghan community and Afghanistan itself, in all of the turmoil in the region, but all of the incredible things that also come out of that region. And so it led me to a place where I was very passionate about learning more about my culture. And so I decided to study political science with a concentration in international relations in order to focus on Afghanistan and on the South Asian and Middle Eastern region. And I was studying that in university, and my parents have always been supportive of anything that I've set my mind to. They've always been very proud that I'm just being myself and stepping into my true nature. And so when the opportunity arose for me to continue or to start acting again, they were absolutely supportive. They didn't know in what capacity I would be doing this, if I would be leaving behind my educational background or if I would be, juggling both. And it definitely was the latter. I decided to juggle both, and they were very proud when my first project was a project that related so strongly to my passion for Afghanistan, for the culture, for the people, and for just highlighting what Afghan girls can do. So that was a very exciting project, I think, for all of us, in that I could connect all of my interests into one beautiful piece of art. And they've been very supportive of my acting career from the get-go, but especially since that project.
Well, you also are an activist. You're a very passionate activist. So tell the listeners, about your activism and why you're so passionate about it.
I think I'm I never considered myself to be an activist when I was growing up and when I was speaking up on Afghanistan or when I was sharing my experiences being an Afghan American girl or when I was just trying to learn more about Afghanistan. And a byproduct of that was my classmates ended up learning more because I would ask those sorts of questions. So at the time, I honestly thought it was just something of my curiosity that kind of led me to this place. And I think the more that I've learned about sort of the stereotypes of that region, the injustices from that region. So many different things. I just became more and more passionate, and it fueled my activism. It fueled how much I wanted to talk about the situation, how much I wanted to do for my community. And so since then, I've worked with refugee communities that are predominantly Afghan. I've been a part of the Afghan American Community Organization in the ways that I could be. I have studied Afghanistan in my classes so that I could raise awareness about it, and I've written several papers on the refugee experience. And those things I think help me get a better, from the academic side, help me get a better understanding of, what theories there are, what opportunities there are, and where the gaps are for my community. And so my goal now is to just be able to speak up on where those gaps are and hopefully be able to fill them in whatever way that I can. And the best way, I think, for youth, who might have limited resources or limited funds to be able to be an activist for their community is just to raise awareness and speak up and be a part of their community. And so that's really what I've been trying to do these days. And I am very grateful that I've been able to do that now with this project specifically. And that's been very exciting that Rule Breakers has been kind of amplifying the Afghan American experience, with the actors, as well as the Afghan experience with that incredible story of the Afghan dreamers.
Okay, well, let's jump into talking about the film Rule Breakers. Kind of tell us about the film, how you got the role, and how this film came about.
Yeah, Rule Breakers is, like you said, based on a true story of Afghanistan's first all-girls robotics team. And it is a story of resilience, it is a story of hope, and it's a story of showcasing women just, um, you know, breaking rules, breaking barriers, and defying expectations. And the character that I play is Essen. She is one of the hardware engineers, on her team. She is very shy, and her story arc is of her finding her voice by relying on the women that are around her, by relying on the beautiful support system that she's found and built within the Afghan Dreamers team. So she's able to find her voice, and it's a beautiful journey that highlights how important it is for young girls to find their voice, especially when they're from regions that may not encourage them to use their voice. And I loved playing Essen. How I got the role of Essen was through an audition that my manager had sent over. I actually auditioned for Tara and Essen and ended up getting callbacks for Essen, which I was very excited for. And it was just a process of, trying to relate to the character, trying to connect on that cultural level, and also trying to connect from my personal experiences being shy. Like I said, my parents threw me in acting classes when I was young to break me out of my shell. And so this was something that I kind of drew that experience from, of how young girls kind of are able to break out of their shells. And so I drew on my experience to play Essen, ultimately did a callback while I was on my spring break trip in Puerto Vallarta. And finally, we had some chemistry reads. And after that, in April, my manager at the time called me and said that how would I like to go traveling around the world to film this movie? And I think I screamed and I was like, "You're lying. There's no way." Like, this was my first audition, actually, so I just didn't expect it to happen that quickly. And when it happened, I was over the moon. And I was especially over the moon because I was so grateful that there was a project on Afghanistan that wasn't centered on war, that wasn't centered on the terrible things that have happened there, or that wasn't centered on, military and men from other regions coming into the country and that dynamic. It was about the women. It was giving women a voice. It was giving women, not only did it give them screen time, but it gave them screen time in such a beautiful and authentic way that highlighted the Afghan experience as an Afghan dreamer, that highlighted how beautiful the culture can be as well. And it wasn't a very biased, bleak view of Afghanistan. So I was very grateful. And I ran to my dorm apartment at the time and called my parents on a FaceTime call so I could record their reactions when I told them. And they were so thrilled. They were thrilled.
Well, tell us about some of the great actors that you played alongside in the film, kind of let the listeners know about that and what that was like, being able to work with those actors and actors.
Absolutely. So I worked first off the team of girls that I worked alongside. So myself, being one of the girls, then we have Nina Hossein-Zadeh, Sarah Malal Rowe, and Mariam Siraj. They're all such beautiful women. Beautiful, beautiful, incredibly talented women who are so supportive, and they are the definition of, finding a community of women from similar shared backgrounds that just support and uplift you. And a lot of people are talking about the chemistry through on screen. And whether that was real or not, that was 100% real. We were all very close and we all got along very well. And yeah, I always say that I was spoiled for my first time on set because honestly, I loved working with them. I absolutely loved working with them. And to this day, I'm still in contact with some of them. And I'm very grateful to have gotten the chance to work alongside them. And we were all coming from different experience levels too. But for the most part, this was our first feature film project that for all of us. And so this was a very special moment. Kind of felt like we were the Afghan Dreamers team having our own journey, our own experiences for the first time are shared, traveling abroad for this project that we were so passionate about. Also, Coach Ali, played by Nurin Ghulam Ghaus, he is incredible. He is such a talented and authentic and deep, sincere actor. So very grateful I got to work with him. We both spoke the same dialect of Dari or Farsi, and so we were able to connect very quickly and have, that language really helps bring communities together, I think. And so we were able to bond over that shared language, and I'm very appreciative of that. And he's just an incredible actor with so much wisdom. He really was like our big brother on set. And so that was beautiful to work with him as well. Nicole Boucheri, strong, grounded. She's incredible. She really brings so much life to Roya, brings that really strong qualities that Roya has. And I'm so grateful that I got to see her work. She's done some amazing projects. So we were very fortunate to have her on this project with us and kind of getting to learn from her by watching her. And it was beautiful. And then Ali Fazal, also another wonderful actor that we got to work with. And I love Bollywood movies. So I had actually seen him before. So it was very cool to be able to have him on set with us. Although the time was brief, but he was an incredible actor to work with and just always doing improv jokes. So that was funny. And lastly, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, gosh, she's incredible to work with. It was very brief that we were able to work with her, but I think backstage I just spoke about video games with her the whole time, especially Tomb Raider, because that's one of my favorites. And I think 2 weeks later it came out that she was writing the Tomb Raider series for Amazon, so I was blown away. But she's so genuine. She brings such a warmth to set. I'm glad I got scene with her and I got a chance to act with her and just be in her presence and understand her acting process and how laid back she is and how strong, she is as a person, as an advocate for women, and she's just incredible to work with. And all the other actors were incredible. We had some great talent from the Budapest and Marrakesh region specifically. The cafe owner Nasser Memarzia, he's a fantastic actor to work with. There's so many great people on set, and I think by being around such talented, experienced people, I was able to get a crash course in acting on my first time on set, and I'm very appreciative of that. It was a opportunity of a lifetime for a new actor.
Well, let the listeners know where they can check out the film.
Absolutely. So Rule Breakers was in theaters all throughout March. It is still playing in theaters, some places as well. And it is able to be streamed on the Angel Guild streaming platform. So you could definitely check it out there. And if you are an international listener, just stay tuned because there are some international releases happening everywhere, at different points in time. So just stay tuned, follow at Rule Breakers Film, and follow me at Amber Afzali, and I will definitely be sure to share when we have other releases. But for now, I think Angel Guild streaming platform is a reliable one.
Okay, well, tell us about any upcoming projects as you can that you are going to be working on that listeners need to know about.
Absolutely. There's nothing I can share right now, but there are definitely going to be some exciting things down the road. So stay tuned. Yes, follow my Instagram, and that's where once can share, you'll be able to check out exactly what it is that I am up to. But I'm always excited to play dynamic and challenging characters and characters that really make people think or open up a dialogue like Essen did. So hopefully audiences will stay connected with my journey and we'll see what's next.
Do you have a website or just your Instagram at Amber
Just
Afzali?
Instagram. Yeah,
Okay,
I should get a website or something. Instagram's my favorite platform right now out of all the social media ones too. So that's the easiest one to stay in touch and connected with me.
absolutely. So close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to touch on that you would like to discuss or talk about, or any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
I I just want to share a deep gratitude for everyone who has already seen the film and all those who are anticipating to watch the film. And I also hope that audiences, when they watch the film, they leave the theaters feeling inspired, feeling motivated. And I hope that the energy and the resilience of Roya and the girls just flows through you and flows through anyone who's with you that's watching it so that you have the courage and the determination to pursue whatever dream it is you have. And especially if in STEM, we need more women in STEM.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to follow and keep up with everything that Amber's up to on Instagram at Amber Afzali. Check out the Rule Breakers film. Follow, share this episode to as many people as possible. Jump on your favorite podcast app, check out the show, leave us a review, follow us. Go to www.curveball337.com for more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast. Listeners, thank you for listening and supporting the show. Amber, thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Curtis.
For more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, visit www.curveball337.com. Until next time, keep living the dream.